Sarah Seidner shows you the evidence just released by the U.S. Attorney's Office, and it's a wow.
You are looking at evidence that was played in federal court of the field training exercises federal prosecutors say were carried out in a plot to storm Michigan's Capitol and kidnap Governor Whitmer. CNN affiliate WXMI obtained the video from the U.S. Attorney's Office after the preliminary hearings for 6 men federally charged with conspiracy to kidnap a sitting governor. Several pieces of federal evidence were played in court.
I'm sick of being robbed and enslaved by the state, period. I'm sick of it. And these are the guys who are actually doing it. You know, so if we're doing a recon or something and we come up on some of them, dude, you better not give them a chance. You either tell them to go right now or else they're going to die, period. That's what it's going to be, dude, because they are the enemy, period.
The suspect's alleged deeds and words were shown to the federal judge so she could decide if there was enough evidence to go to a grand jury. In this video, the lead FBI agent acknowledged in testimony that defendant Adam Fox is inside a basement appearing to be speed reloading his weapon to, quote, minimize the time that your weapon is inoperable in case of a gunfight. Prosecutors say the video was taken inside this vacuum shop in Grand Rapids. The owner of this vacuum shop says Adam Fox lived here for the last couple of weeks. He says he lived behind this door and down into the basement.
Where he stayed. Okay. And he was only going to stay there till 1 November.
Why did you decide it was time for him to go?
He was buying more like attachments for like an AR-15, and he was buying like food. And I'm not stupid. I was in the Marine Corps. So that I told him he had to go.
Bryant Titus says he had no idea what was going on in his business's basement after hours. The FBI testified this is inside another defendant's basement where you can see an arsenal of weapons in a gun locker, including an illegal short-barrel rifle. Beyond the videos, the FBI says they also infiltrated encrypted chats and text chains, laying out the plot. In one encrypted chat, the suspects allegedly use code names and discuss killing Governor Whitmer, not just kidnapping her. The FBI identified the codename Beaker as suspect Daniel Harris, who writes, laying in bed, craziest idea, have one person go to her house, knock on the door, and when she answers, just cap her. At this point, F it. Someone with the codename Tex responds, LOL, only if it would be that easy. Beaker replies, I mean effing catch her walking into a building and act like passersby and fixing dome her. Then yourself, whoever does it. Why create a manhunt? Do it in broad daylight and then end it. Tex replies, good point. Or recon the house and sniper. The alleged plot was never carried out. The 6 men, along with 7 others, were arrested in an October FBI raid. 6 were charged federally, the rest charged by the state for acts of terror.
That's something, Sarah Seidner, thank you. And another suspect has been arrested. That brings the total accused in the plot to 14 people. As you know, all are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Despite the alleged plot, President Trump is again slamming Governor Whitmer, telling him out in Nevada that she's doing a terrible job controlling the coronavirus in her state.
Look at Michigan. Michigan had a surge. Well, who's been tougher than her? She ran it like a prison. She was like a warden, right? And they have a surge. And then they say she's doing a wonderful job. I think she's doing a terrible job.
Well, the president referenced Governor Whitmer, a Democrat, several times without naming her directly, but the governor says the president's attacks incite domestic terrorism.
You know, it's incredibly disturbing that the president of the United States, 10 days after a plot to kidnap, put me on trial and execute me, 10 days after that was uncovered, the president is at it again and inspiring and incentivizing and inciting this kind of domestic terrorism. It is wrong. It's got to end. It is dangerous, not just for me and my family, but for public servants everywhere.
Lara Trump, the president's daughter-in-law, described the president's calls to jail the governor as him, quote, having fun, unquote. And she serves as a senior advisor for the Trump campaign. Sarah.
So, when I saw this, I mean, I was just like, wow, it's really starting to happen. People are really starting to get fed up and become radicalized to the point where they're trying to kill politicians. I also love how I also love how Trump is slamming her for the virus. This guy has no business talking about failures in keeping the virus suppressed, as his actions have been completely and utterly abysmal. So the guy Adam Fox, he said, "We are being robbed and enslaved by the state, period." Which he is 100 absolutely percent correct. They have. And you know, the state has been violating our constitutional rights on an everyday basis for a long time now. But one of the reasons why I always talk about economic liberty on this channel is because you notice how everybody was okay with our rights being violated, and they didn't have this much of a reaction back then, before the virus and before the economic crisis. But now we have a situation where people are losing their shelter. People are going to bed hungry. Their kids are going to bed hungry. People are sleeping on the streets. People have no health care. Economic liberty is so important. Much more important than a lot of individual issues. But you know what? The fact remains, whether it's economic or individual, the government is not providing either to us. Both are very important. You're not free when you're going home and your home is a box on the street. People are getting fed up. People understand. People are starting to understand that the government does not care about us. They care about Big Pharma. They care about the military-industrial complex. They care about the private prison complex and all the other people who are filling their pockets. We don't own our own government, in case you guys haven't noticed. And I also find it very disheartening that a lot of people are choosing to vote for the lesser of two evils, despite the fact that doing that exact same thing is what got us the two shitty candidates that we have right now, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. They are expecting you to vote third party. They are expecting you to vote second party. They are banking on it because they know that there's going to be no change so long as you guys keep the status quo. People are becoming radicalized and they are getting sick of it. They are starting to feel like there are no other options other than to kill politicians. And I want to talk to everybody right now who is feeling a little bit radical. We are not going to beat these people on the battlefield. We are not going to beat them with guns. They outgun us and they outnumber us as far as, active duty goes, and all the people and all of the military personnel that's ready to fight if need be. We live in the United States, aka the country with the greatest military in the history of the world. You know how big our U.S. military is? Even if we cut the military by 50%, we would still be number one in spending. So we're not going to beat that. We're not going to win that battle, guys. You want to know how we beat them? By disobeying them. by saying fuck your two-party system. I don't want a master anymore. I want health care. I want to legalize marijuana. I want to stop the reauthorization of the Patriot Act. I want to give people shelter. I want to give people a living wage. I want to end the illegal and offensive wars that we are in right now. And the only way to do that, the only way to get any of those policies implemented, is stop playing their game. They bank on you voting two-party, guys. They bank on this shit. They're not stupid. I'm not saying vote third party. All I'm saying is, if we're ever going to get anything done with these psychopaths that are in DC and that run our government, we have to disobey them. Saying we're done playing your rules and we're done playing your games. We're done voting. We're not going to vote for the two-party system anymore. I'm going to go in the voting booth and I'm going to write in a name, and that name is simply going to say hashtag no one 2020. And then I'm going to put that inside the machine, and that is how my vote is going to be counted. Okay? The powers that be will not just simply let you have what you want, okay? They have all the power. The state, capitalism, these are very powerful things. And they work toe and toe together to make sure that this system stays where it's at. We're not going to beat them on the battlefield. No. That's what they're expecting us to do because they know they'll beat our asses. Just simply stop following orders. Simply make it clear that we do have the guts to stand up to Big Pharma. We do have the guts to stand up to Boeing and Raytheon. We do have the guts to die for our country and have a grassroots movement big enough to make the government realize that we're not going to fear them anymore. They're going to fear us. You guys, we don't have a lot of time left. We really don't. And either the economic collapse is going to happen, or a civil war is going to happen. We don't want either to happen. This isn't the first video I've seen, or first case I've seen so far of people being radical towards each other. I mean, I saw the thing in Portland where Antifa shot that Trump supporter too. Things like the Kyle Rittenhouse case, things like the McCloskey case, the McCloskey case. I can keep going on and on from this year alone. We need to set a precedent this year. Do we want to keep voting for war criminals and pedophiles? Or do we want to vote for people who are willing to die for us? People who are willing to go to DC, go to that swamp, and say, fuck you guys. This is done. This isn't happening anymore. We're getting Medicare for all. We're getting marijuana. We're getting sex work legalized. It's up to you guys. It is totally and undecisively up to you. You can settle for Biden, you can settle for Trump. But as long as you keep settling, they're never going to give you the time of day.